Hello, it's Amy Harrison from Write With Influence. So this is video number 3 out of 3 in a series of tutorials helping you write more persuasive marketing content. In video number 1 we looked at how to identify the areas of impact of your offer, of your product or your service, and use that in your writing to get the attention of your customer. In video number 2, we looked at the 15 elements of influence and how you can use those and tailor those to your business to build a compelling argument about what you have. Video number 3 is all about how to tell a unique business story. But before we get into it, what I should say is that telling a unique business story is not about being completely different or new or wacky or revolutionary. And this is something that a lot of business owners worry about, is that, you know, when people talk about the USP, the unique selling point, doesn't mean that I have to do something that no one else has done before. And this can put a lot of pressure on you, and it can tempt you to try and come up with something just completely different in your business just for the sake of being different. And you don't have to do that. So you don't have to be the accountant on roller skates just because that's how you want to differentiate your accountancy business. Unless, of course, that is what you want to do. And don't just take it from me as well, because there have been in the past products that were completely new, that were unique, that just didn't work. So, for example, one product that was completely new within the industry was Clairol released a yogurt shampoo. Now, that probably would actually work today. This was a few years ago, and I think people were a little bit more hesitant with the idea of anything kind of yogurt-based going near their hair. Another product that was new within its industry and unique was pet food flavoured water. So there was pet food, there was water. No one had combined the two before. Let's do it. Now, both products were produced by trusted companies, and both products failed miserably. So why? They were unique. You know, I'm sure that there was a lot of backslapping in the boardrooms when they created these ideas. Well, the missing element of both of these products was customer desire. You know, you've got to, when you're thinking about your unique business story, your customer has to factor into it, because that is the person that you're trying to appeal to. So you've got to think about what they're interested in when you create your unique business story. So what I've got for you today, 3 steps to creating a unique business story that your customer is actually interested in. And it is very simple, but don't underestimate that simplicity. You can use this to come up with some really great ideas that can set your business apart and just give you that edge in your content. So it works like this. Step number 1, look at what your customer loves or what they want. Step number 2, then look at what you love and what is unique about you in terms of your skills, your experience, your expertise. And then the final step is to blend those two areas of elements, because you'll come up with lots of different ideas. Blend those things together. If you think about it, it's like making a bridge between you and your customer. And within those elements, you can then find the story that no one in your industry is telling. Now, this sounds simplistic, but this process actually created a billion-dollar idea. And I love this story. And it appeals to me because it's set in the 80s, and I'm an 80s child. So basically, 2 comic book cartoonists were looking for new ideas. And their target market was teenagers. So they went through step 1. At the time, let's go back into 80s, I'm talking neon colours and leg warmers. What did teenagers love apart from big hair and shoulder pads? Maybe not. So basically, these cartoonists kicked around a bunch of ideas, and they found four main elements that came up to the top that they thought teenagers were really interested in. The first one being pizza, which to me, I mean, that transcends all age levels. Pizza's amazing. The second thing that was really popular with teenagers at the time was ninjas. Can you see where I'm going with this? If not, the third clue might give it away. The next one, which should be number 1, was mutants. Sorry, this should be number 3. So yeah, I've changed that quickly just by magic. And number 4, it was turtles. For some reason, they found that quite strange, but apparently teenagers were crazy for turtles. So bearing those elements in mind, we go on to step 2. Well, what were the cartoonists hot for? What did the cartoonists love? What was their passion? And that was simply creating comics for the purpose of this story. So what was the result? Well, I'm sure you can probably guess. It was a comic, because that's how it started, about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles who loved eating pizza. Now, obviously, this is quite a bold example, and I'm not expecting you to come up with the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for your business, particularly if you're selling software or you're selling more serious products. But obviously, for 2 cartoonists that were creating a comic for teenagers, this was perfect. So let's see if we can find the story that no one's telling in your industry. So let's go through these steps as if you were to do it for your business. First of all, what do your customers love or want? And if you want, you can split these into 2 parts. So part 1 relating to their problem, but you might also find some inspiration by looking at part 2, which is relating to their wider lifestyle. So in relation to their problem, what do they love or what do they want? Think about your customer. What's the main problem that you solve for them? What is it that they want? Is it less pain, more sales? Do they want to improve efficiency in their business, get more clarity or focus over something, a better golf swing, fast delivery? You know, this is where you need to spend a few minutes of your time with a pen and paper and just jot down the stuff that your customer wants in relation to the problem that you solve. But then also, you know, widen that search and think about your customer in a wider context of their lifestyle. What else is important to them? What do they love or what do they want? Is family important to them? Are there things in the community that they're really keen about, really passionate about? Celebrity news. Do they follow celebrity news? Do they love certain celebrities, hate certain celebrities? Look at the news, or, you know, your customer might be interested in the economy or politics or business. It doesn't necessarily have to relate to the area that you solve. But it might be that because of who your customer is, their lifestyle has a big impact you know, on how you can reach them as well. So for example, if you do business coaching for work-at-home women, there's a good chance that you might have some mums there, and family might be a big part of their lifestyle. So you might want to integrate some of that into your content. So how do you find this stuff out though? I mean, that's an obvious link. If you're appealing to mums, then usually family is going to be quite important to them. But there are some other avenues that you can use to try and kick up some of these details. One is to, well, spy nicely on conversations. Spy is a little bit strong, because what I'm talking about is public conversations. So what you can do is you can use Twitter, you can use forums, you can use blogs to go to places where your perfect customer, your target market, hangs out and see what they're talking about. And see what they're talking about, not just about, you know, in terms of either their business or the problem that you solve, but what other conversations are going on, because this can be a great way to gauge, you know, what's popular with them right now, what news stories are catching their eye, and this information can help you when you're creating your story and also help you in your wider marketing. Another great place to search is YouTube, because YouTube will show you what's popular. It will show you, you know, if something's got millions of views, then there's a lot of people watching that, and that's got that sort of account for popularity. Now, I remember back in 2012, there was a video which I really liked. It was called Parenting Advice, and it was about a guy who was very frustrated. He'd found out his daughter was whining about him and her mother on Facebook and being quite nasty and telling lies about them. And so he was an American, and he made a video explaining why this really wasn't on. It was very disrespectful, and then he took her laptop outside and he shot it. Now, it polarized opinion and it caused a lot of controversy, but it was popular. At the moment, that video has about 38 million views. And what's interesting is that it really highlighted, at the time, hot topics of parenting teens, and social media, and how do you handle all of this as a parent, and how should you discipline when it comes to social media and technology, you know, and things that are going on under your roof. And so if you were a parenting expert, or if you were a family expert or relationship expert, this would have been a key source for you to say, this is something that's really hitting home to people that's really important to my target market. And the final place that you can look for research are your customers. Take them out for a coffee, pick their brains, and don't just limit it to the problem. Ask them how do you feel about your problem? What would you like to see solved? What did you enjoy about the way that we work together and how I solve your problem if it's a past customer? But then also get them talking about their wider lifestyle. What is important to them? What other themes within their wider work or family, home life, social life tend to crop up? It is worth taking this time to do it, to get to know your customers. So this is how you can research. Number one, which is what your customers want or love. Number two is all about you. So this is going to be a little bit easier. It basically boils down to, having a look at what are your passions, what are your skills, your experience, your expertise. Take a pen and paper, and just start jotting things down. What am I good at? What feels natural to me? Where do my talents lie? And some of this will probably be very obvious to you, but don't just relate it to business associated talents. Think about what you also love outside of your business. Do you enjoy singing? Do you enjoy creative aspects, creative arts? Have a think about that and put it all together on one page. And don't self-edit or throw out an idea, because what we're trying to do is create an environment where we can start to brainstorm the unique story. And that's what comes next. You're looking to blend both of these sides, what you know about your customer and what you know about you, to find a story that no one else is telling in your industry. For example, let's say you're a copywriter at the top left and top right. Your customer is, they are small business owners, they're interested in marketing their business, they're mostly female. You love romance novels, this is just an example. They love and part one, the problem, they want to market in an authentic way. And lifestyle, maybe they're very upbeat, they like to have fun. And so, looking at these 5 different sections, these are some of the details. Where can we start to build a story no one else is telling? Maybe it is the blend of romance novels and authentic marketing, how understanding a romance novel leads you to marketing in a more authentic and sincere way. Or maybe you want to go down the fun route of fun and flirty marketing. Again, you don't have to use all of the details here, but this is just, and you don't have to limit yourself to just one answer per section. What I would like you to see you do is come up with lots and lots of different ideas in the bid to start off your unique business story. Or here's another example. So you are a supplier of HR and payroll software, and you love sales training, but you also love fitness training as well. And your customer is a small to medium business. They're struggling to improve productivity, to increase profits, and that's something they're really interested in. And because they're a small to medium business, maybe they're a startup, they're quite excited about the economy. That's something that really interests them. And so they're excited about the changes of the economy and what that means for startups and small businesses. So even then, just simply we can look at, okay, what's a story that no one else is telling? Well, maybe no one's covered the fact of how software needs to be tailored for the startup economy, or designed for the startup economy. Is that different? Is it different creating software for startups than it is for established businesses? Maybe you would decide that looking at this, that what you could do is to combine a unique offer, is offering the software but also sales training as well. And as an angle, if you wanted to bring your passions into it, you could look into your marketing about, getting your business fit, getting your business efficient and profitable. Again, you don't have to blend all the details together. And this isn't to say that simply adding one to the next is going to create your unique story, but this process will give you a focus to explore and develop your own unique business story. So in summary, have a go at yourself. Think about who you are, what you love, who your customers are, what they're hot for, what they love, what they want. As I mentioned, what you're hot for, and then look at how can you blend these two sides of the story and create a story that no other you is talking about. And when I say you, no other copywriter or web designer or business coach, and use this as a starting point to develop your own unique story. Okay, so what next? I would love you to jump into the comments if you do this process. Let me know what you come out with, or let me just know the elements. If you want to toss around ideas of how to create your unique business story, I'm on hand. I love to help. And keep your eyes peeled for the next and final video. This was 3 out of 3 of the training videos. But in the next video, I'll be letting you know how you can take this training further and get even more detailed help and guidance with your marketing copy. And this offer is specifically designed to be accessible to small businesses and freelance professionals. So this is not a high ticket, out of reach offer. This is something that I'm very excited about because I think it's going to be able to help a lot of people and be accessible to a lot of people. So keep your eyes peeled. Register if you haven't registered already, and then you'll get an email saying when the next the final video is out. Until next time, keep believing.